Hello children, we are back over here with the next session. Now today, as you all know, we have already started with the fundamental unit of life, and in the previous class we have already studied what is cell. We have even seen how the cell was discovered and its different parts were discovered. Along with that, we have also seen that the size, shape, etc. they all varies from organism to organism. Now today in this class, in this video lecture, we are going to study about the structural organization of the cell. So the cell is made up of three parts. If you are going to see the structure of the cell, generally each organism contains all these three structures. Externally, the cell is bounded by the cell membrane. The inner content of the cell, cytoplasm, is present, and the nucleus. So today we are going to study the detail of all these three basic structures which are present in each and every cell. So first of all, we take the plasma membrane. Now what is plasma membrane? The plasma membrane, as it is shown in the diagram, it is the outermost membrane of the cell. Its function, if you are going to see, what is its function? It separates the inner content from the external environment. Plus also it protects the cell. As externally it bounds the cell, so its main function is protection. Third question arises, what is this plasma membrane made up of? This plasma membrane is made up of proteins and lipids. This was given by Singer and Nicholson. Actually, the construction of the cell membrane, this was explained by different biologists at a different time. So the different theories given by the different scientists, it is not there in your course. So we are not going to study that. So the basic structures, that is it is made up of proteins and the lipid. This was explained by Singer and Nicholson. Now because of as it is made of proteins and lipids, so the cell membrane is a flexible membrane. Now inside the cell, the water can go and the cell can swell up. So as the cell swell up, the flexibility is required. So this flexibility is provided by the proteins and the lipids added to the cell. Cell membrane is selectively permeable membrane. Now what does it mean? That is, it selectively permits only some of the substances to enter or exit out of the cell. Now the question arises, which all substances can enter or exit inside the cell? So the example is like gases like oxygen. You all know oxygen is the basic necessity of the cell. Without oxygen, the cell cannot function and it will die. So oxygen is the necessity, and the second, water. So if you are going to see the oxygen, so now the question arises, how the oxygen enters inside the cell through this membrane. This enters through the diffusion method. Now what is diffusion? Diffusion is the movement of the molecules from the higher concentration to the lower concentration. You all must have seen at your home, and plus you must have experienced this thing, that if in any corner the incense stick is lighted up, the smoke which rises from the incense stick, from that corner it moves to the other parts where it is not present. So the movement of the gaseous molecule from the higher concentration to the lower concentration is called as the diffusion. So how the gases enters inside the cell? It is through the diffusion process. So the movement, that is, the oxygen enters inside the cell. When there is deficiency of oxygen inside the cell, the oxygen through diffusion enters into the cell, and when amount of carbon dioxide, it increases inside the cell, and in the external environment, as it is less, so it will move out of the cell. So in this way, exchange of the gases takes place inside the cell. The second substances which move in and out of the cell is water. Now the question arises, how the water moves? It moves through the osmosis process. Now what is osmosis? Osmosis is a process in which the water molecules move from the higher concentration to the lower concentration through the semi-permeable membrane, that is through the cell membrane. So in the osmosis, what is required? The semi-permeable membrane is required. Without that, the movement of the water molecules inside and out of the cell will not move, and that will not be called as osmosis. So in the osmosis, what happens is the cell faces three conditions. In three conditions, what happens is, or what are the three conditions? The first condition is the water outside the cell can be more, and inside the cell the water can be less. That is, around the cell there can be three environments. Either the concentration of the water will be more outside the cell and inside is less. This solution is called as a hypotonic solution. So if the cell is kept in the hypotonic solution, what happens is that the water molecules from the outside of the cell move inside of the cell. As amount of the water inside the cell is less, so it absorbs the water and it swells up. So when the cell is kept in hypotonic solution, the cell will swell up. Secondly, there can be hypotonic condition. That is, in the external environment, the water molecules can be less, or the concentration of the water can be less, and inside the water can be more. So water from inside will move out of the cell. So in this condition, what will happen will be is the cell will shrink. This condition is called as the hypertonic solution. So when the cell is kept in hypertonic solution, the cell will shrink. You all must be knowing the example of the raisins. Like if we take some raisins and if we soak it in the water, what will happen will be after 1 or 2 hours you are going to see that the raisins swell up. So that is the hypotonic solution. So in the hypotonic solution, what happens is the raisins swell up when it is kept in the water. Contrary to it, if we take out the raisins from the water and we just dry it, or if we keep it on the out of the water, that is, if we keep it on the cloth, again what we are going to see is that the raisins will shrink, and the amount of the water absorbed by the raisins, it will dry up. So that condition is the hypertonic condition. The third condition is the isotonic condition. In the isotonic solution, what happens is when the concentration of the water inside the cell and outside the environment, if it is equal, then what will happen will be is no change will take place. The cell will remain as it is. Now the question arises that when the cell faces all these conditions, a very good example is when you apply a lot of amount of the soap on your hands. What you are going to see, if you keep it, if you don't wash it, so what will happen will be is you can see the wrinkles on your fingers. If you keep your hands in the water for longer time, again you see the wrinkles on your hand. So these all are the conditions where the body cells are being exposed to all these solutions, and due to that what is happening is the cell shrinks and on the skin the wrinkles arises. So in this way the movement of the water and the gases takes place inside the cell. These are the basic necessities which are required. Without this, the cell will not remain alive. The second part of the cell is the cytoplasma. Now what is cytoplasma? Cytoplasma is the fluid content. It is the liquid content present in the cell. This cytoplasma, it contains various organs inside the cell. But here we are not going to call as the organs. These are called as the cell organelles. As I have discussed in the previous lecture, that there are different parts of the cell which perform different functions which help in the functioning of the cell. So inside the cell there are different cell organelles performing different functions. Like for example mitochondria, it is a powerhouse of the cell. Plus this cytoplasma, as it is present inside the cell, so what happens is it also helps in the transportation of the various substances. So whatever is being manufactured in the different parts of the cell, that is in the different cell organelles, so these cell organelles, they are transported from one place to another wherever it is required through the cytoplasm. The third part of the cell is the nucleus. Now, the nucleus is what? It's the director of the cell. Without director, what happens is, if no command is there inside the cell will not able to function properly. So, the direction is required. This direction is given by the nucleus. It controls all the activities of the cell. Now, if you are going to see the structure of the nucleus is the spherical body present inside the cell, that is in the cytoplasm. This nucleus, if you are going to see, externally it is bounded by a double membrane structure called as a nuclear membrane. You can see between the nuclear membrane there are present a minute pores. These are called as a nuclear pores. These nuclear pores allow certain substances to enter inside the nucleus and allows the rest of the material, whatever is required, also goes out of it. If we see the inner content, the jelly-like fluid is present inside the nucleus. This is called as a nucleoplasm. Inside the nucleoplasm, you can see a thread work which is entangled with one another. This structure is called as a chromatin material. This chromatin material is the genetic material, and it is this genetic material which transfers the characters from one generation to another. Now, when the cell is ready to divide, you all know all the cell arises from the pre-existing cell. So, how this pre-existing cell helps in the division? So, what happens is this chromatin material, it condenses and it thickens and it gets converted into chromosomes. These chromosomes contains a fragment, and this fragment is called as the genes. So, genes are the units of heredity. They help in the transfer of the characters from one generation to another. The color of your face, the color of your skin, the color of your hairs, the type of your hair, that is the entire design of the body that comes from through the genes. So, the units of heredity are present in these chromosomes. And these chromosomes, you all know, every organism has a particular number of chromosomes. Like we have 46 number of chromosomes. Same way, each and every organism has a different number of chromosomes. This identifies a particular species. So, when the cell divides, what happens is the chromatin material condenses, it converts into chromosome, and when the cell divides, these chromosomes, they are interchanged or exchanged, and the cell divides. And the new cell which after division, it contains different, or it carries the different genes, and these genes thus carry the different characteristics, and thus it makes all of us different from one another. This is all about the nucleus. The rest of the parts